Tierra Blanca Arts Center invites you to Semblanza 2020, October 17 and 18. Semblanza is a global virtual folk and dance festival with the participation of more than 20 countries, celebrating folk, art, tradition, and culture. Join us in our journey to Semblanza on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 o'clock and meet the directors and all the artists that are participating in this wonderful celebration. Semblanza 2020, presented by Tierra Blanca Arts Center. We're still on a journey to Semblanza 2020. Remember, Tuesdays and Thursdays, today, Tuesday, October 6th, meet Team Germany and join us as we celebrate German American Day. When the Phoenix Club was founded in 1960, a long-awaited dream come true for many German nationals here in California. In 1971, the company was formed and has continued performing through the United States and internationally. Special honors such as being part of the opening ceremony at the 1984 Olympics or being part of the Munich Bavarian Oktoberfest in 2014. Welcome to the Team Germany to Semblanza 2020. And remember, we still need your support to bring this beautiful festival to a success. Donate today. Semblanza 2020, where we celebrate through unity, hope, and dance, the human spirit.
Hello and welcome everybody. Today, Tuesday, October 6th, we're going to meet the wonderful people of the country of Germany. Señoras y señores, estamos dando la bienvenida al equipo y a todos los representantes de Alemania aquí, en Estados Unidos y en otras partes de su país. So thank you for being with us. And we're going to bring a special guest that today we have the honor to have her here with us because she's going to help us to translate a little bit and help me to communicate with them because I know they're wonderful, but sometimes my English gets a little bit Spanglish. So I hope they'll be able to understand what I say. So this is the time, please, people, to take this time to share, to invite people to come and join us. It's going to be amazing. Come on, invite everybody. Tell your friends. Come on, we got to know more about these people because it's wonderful to see how much we can learn, all the similarities that we have and all the great differences that we can appreciate from in different countries. So we're going to bring to our beautiful guest and a special señorita that we all love, and we know that she's an amazing dancer, great choreographer. Also, she has been part of Semblanza for a long time, along with her mom. This is Amanda Vega and Miss Grace Vega. Gracias por estar con nosotros, señoritas.
Hello, Blanca. What a wonderful introduction. Thank you.
So are you ready to introduce our special guest?
Yes, of course. Are we ready, everyone?
Yes, we are.
All right. Okay, first we have Grammy Award nominated musician and producer Alex Maxner.
Yay!
Hello, everybody.
Hello. Hello. Next we have Rudy and Kathy Lechka from the Gemütlichen Schuhplatte.
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Hi, Rudy.
Hello.
Hi, Kathy. Hello. Welcome. We also have Karen Loder, writer and blogger of German Girl in America Facebook page.
Yay!
Hi, all. Hi, guten Tag. Hi. Hello. And the esteemed president of the German American Mardi Gras Association, Mr. Holger Klaus.
Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Hello. And our wonderful soloist, Funken Märchen from the Anaheim Karnevalsgesellschaft, Miss Amanda Hernandez.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Is everyone here? Is that everybody?
We're missing Marley.
Marlili. Also from the Gemütlichen Schuhplatte. Yay! Hello, and she looks beautiful and so wonderful. Hello, everyone. Okay.
Yes,
Let me get
it's
more.
everyone.
There you go. Okay. Everyone is here and lovely and sharing their culture. How beautiful. Let's go around the table and introduce yourselves, how you share your culture, and what brings you all here to our Semblanzas table. Let's start with Alex Michener. Alex? Oh, okay. While we're waiting for him, Rudy and Kathy, why don't you go ahead and start?
There he is.
Oh, hello.
Hello. I got kicked off somehow.
Oh. No, don't leave us.
So that's gonna.
Okay, Mr. Alex. So, wow,
Yes.
an Grammy Award nominated musician.
So,
What kind
wow.
of music do you produce? What kind of music do you make? How does that tie from your German culture and so vice?
It's okay. So I live currently in South Florida. I'm originally from Eastern Pennsylvania, the Allentown area, which has a large concentration of Austrian, German, Hungarian, Croatian immigrants. And it's a pretty awesome thing. My family are Burgenlander Austrians, originally from Germany, that came to Austria. And then Burgenland is an area in which the culture mixes the Croatian, Hungarian, and the Germanic roots together. And then now here in the United States, it's really awesome to see all the similarities in those roots, as well as how the differences make themselves special. So my specialty is playing Germanic Alpine music, but putting an American twist on it. So we mix rock and roll and party anthems with that, but we also make sure that when we sing stuff in North German, it's in Platt dialect. When we sing in Bayerische dialect or in different Austrian dialects, that it is authentic for where the music comes from. And we're trying to keep it relevant because as we live in an immigrant culture like the United States, it is important that we recognize all of those parts. I feel that music and our culture is like a goulash. All the individual ingredients are very good on their own, but when you put it all together, it has its own very special, amazing taste.
Super. I love that. And now, yeah, I love that imagery of goulash. It's delicious and phenomenal. All right. Thank you, Mr. Alex. Rudy and Kathy, a little bit about yourselves and the group that you represent.
Well, first off, I think this just goes to show you what a small world we live in. Alex, my father lived in Copley.
That's my hometown.
Yeah, and I'm a Burgenlander too. So spread across the whole country are the Germans and the Austrians, and we all continue to promote our culture. And it's just, I mean, there you go. Very small world we live in.
Sure is. That's awesome, Kathy.
Yeah, so it's, I mean, the reason we do this, I think, primarily is because it's fun, right? It's what our parents did in many cases, what our grandparents did. It gives us a way to pass it on to our kids, and it's fun. Kathy and I dance. We've danced since we were kids. We play music. We enjoy sharing the dialect, the food, and every opportunity we have, we do that. The Phoenix Club is a social club that's got different groups that focus on certain aspects of the culture. Holger Klaus is from the Carnival group, right? That's a different part of Germany. A little bit to the west, northwest of Bavaria. Ours is from the southern region in the mountains, and there's just a lot there to do and to share with others. So it's good fun for us, and everybody knows Oktoberfest, right? A great Bavarian tradition. It's a good way to share.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. And let's next hear from Mr. Holger Klaus.
Hello there. Yes, we are celebrating Mardi Gras, or in German, Carnival.
And most of
Kind of
you may
fun.
know about Mardi Gras in New Orleans. We do it the German way, slightly different, more traditional dances. And yeah, I represent the German American Mardi Gras Association, which is all the German carnival clubs in America, Canada, and we do one big party in Las Vegas once a year, 2 days, full party with a lot of performances, dances, dancing, ballroom dancing, and yeah, that's how we celebrate Carnival the German way in America.
Wonderful. And how did you came to be president?
Well, as you know, in some non-profit organizations, someone is left over. I'm just kidding. I do Mardi Gras for almost 40 years now, and so I have been involved in the American part of the Mardi Gras for over 20 years now, and since I also speak German, yeah, I ended up with that job, let's call it. It is a job, and we have the season to organize all these events. It's a big job, but it's also a lot of fun, and that's the main thing. We bring people together that have fun. We have 1,000 people in one room, and they are drinking, and we have never had a fight in 50 years.
Yay! Miss Grace?
President Holger, I was wondering, can you tell me when does Carnival start? Because I believe Rob Gunnerman, your ambassador of Germany for Semblanza, told me it starts in when? Can you explain that to our audience?
Always on 11/11. That's the official start, at least in Germany. I don't know other countries, but in Germany it starts 11/11 at 11/11 in the morning.
Yep.
And then that's when the craziness starts. Then we elect the prince and par, and then we party through all the way till Ash Wednesday.
So that's like 4 months of parties, is that correct?
Yeah, closer to 2, but yeah, Christmas is solid off, but soon after
okay.
New Year's, you know, we clean up the house and then we go partying.
Yeah, because I was surprised because I thought I understood the Carnival meant it was like sort of like Mardi Gras, so I thought it was just the week before Ash Wednesday or the weekend before. And when I come to, she's like, no, it starts on 11/11 at 11:11 a.m. And just because, and the stories behind that, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, because that's 4 months of planning, basically a production every weekend. I'm amazed. Every weekend, I'm thinking, I'm amazed. So that means that the dance group performs every weekend?
Almost,
also?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
So, and especially
Incredible.
from the Phoenix Club, they even have special dances for every event that we have. They have a special dance on top of that. So they have a standard dance, and then they still do a more organized. But let's say it this way: we don't celebrate every weekend at the Phoenix Club. We also have friends in San Diego and other clubs where we visit and let them host the party, which is also a lot of fun. If you don't have to work and you just have fun, that's very different.
That sounds wonderful. And let's elaborate on that. Miss Amanda Hernandez, how do you celebrate Carnival? Or what's your role in this, multi-month celebration?
Yeah. So I'm in the Carnival, the Prince and Garter group. And so this past year I was in commemoration, which is the soloist part. And so I kind of just like dancing and performing for everyone and showing them the type of carnival dances that we do. We do a traditional carnival dance, but we also do a fun dance, and we get to pick a theme, which I really like, and I think kind of just brings everyone together. And usually a lot of us in the group, we invite our friends to come to our events. So we get to share our tradition with non-German people, and then they tell their friends. So I think that's pretty cool. But I started dancing in the group when I was 3, and now I'm 21, so I've been here for a while. And I actually started, I think what caught my eye was during Mayfest. My parents said I kind of just loved it, and I wanted to join the kids group, and stayed all the way through till I was 16, and then joined the Prinsengarde, and I think I'll be here till I'm like 50 if I can. So yeah.
Of course. It's building a family, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
I love it.
definitely. One of my my best friend, actually, who I met in the group when I first joined the kids group, we're actually moving in together. So just creating these
I love that.
Yeah, creating these relationships with people who kind of share the German culture as well is really awesome.
That's phenomenal. I love that multi-generational aspect of these kind of groups and gatherings.
Yeah.
Miss Karen Loder, how do you represent your culture, and what brings you to the Semblanzas table?
I'm a writer. I have a website called German Girl in America, where I try to translate all of the madness that is German culture to people who are unfamiliar with it. So, describing what carnival is and explaining the history behind it and the dances. And I got to tell you, if you're part of the Prince Guard, that's incredible dancing. The amount of footwork she has and the flipping around and everything, it's crazy. But also share traditions and cultures and travel, just sort of getting everybody to know Germany who isn't there, who wasn't there, who remembers it maybe from a long time ago. It fell into it backwards because I grew up in Southern California to German parents. My parents are still members of the Phoenix Club as well, so that sort of ties us all in a knot. And they were there for Oktoberfest just last week. So, but I'm a little bit north of there. I grew up in Southern California. So that's me, I write, I don't sing or dance.
No, that's a wonderful tradition to bring, because you record our stories. You record the stories of Germany and its people and its cultures, and
I'm trying to
a vital part
and write it down and share it on. Yeah, so that people get it. That it's not just phenomenal. Oktoberfest. There's a whole year round where they're celebrating to do.
Yeah. Yes. Now, I know the Phoenix Club is mainly based on the Bavarian traditions, the Austro-Bavarian traditions. But when I think of Carnival, I think of Köln, Köln and Dusseldorf. So how does the Cologne, for my English speakers, how does Köln tradition and Bavarian traditions of celebrating Carnival differ? Can anyone speak on that?
Well, if I could say something,
and joining us, we have
the Phoenix Club is not only Bavarian tradition. Of course, it's one of the biggest groups that we have, but it was founded by many Germans from all over Germany and Hungary and wherever they came. So, the Carnival is definitely Cologne, Düsseldorf, and so on. Thing, but Carnival in Germany is also broadband. I know that in Bavaria there's many places where they celebrate Fasching, which is essentially the same, especially in northern Bavaria, and all over Germany there's Carnival going on. Not this year, but normally.
Yes, normally, yes. I went to university in the Universität Tübingen in the Nähe von Stuttgart. So my knowings and learnings of Faschings and Carnival might be different from the Bavarian traditions. Is there any stark differences that anyone is aware of?
Between Carnival and Fasching?
Well, between the different traditions throughout Germany. Is there
it's sort of like Texas to New York.
Right.
Everyone
has their own little style,
Yeah, but for example, for Carnival, for Fasching, for Bavarian Fasching, The period of partying may be a little bit shorter, and the nature of the costumes and the tone of the party is a little bit different. Bavarians tend to dress up as spirits of the forest during that time. They put on scary masks and scare away the evil spirits. So it's a little bit perhaps more ancient in the tradition that's brought to that celebration.
I love that. Yeah, more rustic, more spiritual connected. Because Carnival, I remember Carnival from, in Köln, Dusseldorf. It was full out an American Halloween, like in the streets. Just I was wearing a peacock costume, me and my girlfriends. Yes. So for those watching, it's a massive, massive party. At least from what I experienced, a massive Halloween party for Fat Tuesday, and it was phenomenal because it was, a Tuesday afternoon in the middle of February, and full-blown party in the streets, full-blown costumes, elaborate costumes. And it was such an energy, such a beautiful experience just to witness and be a part of. So what is everyone's favorite part of celebrating Carnival? And we're going to welcome Mr. Jürgen Schwarze. Hello, what brings you to our Semblanza's table? How do you play a part in our little discussion here, sir?
Yeah, I'm a musician. So I've been playing at the Phoenix Club for close to 40 years. Wow. And that's what I'm bringing to the table here. Other than the fact that I'm a German immigrant and grew up in the Midwest, born in Ludwigsburg, and my connection is just even after going to USC to study classical music, I ended up spending most of my career playing German music, which I just identify with my culture in that regard. So.
Absolutely,
that's beautiful.
Beautiful. Right. And what instrument do you play?
I play saxophone, clarinet, and flute, and iwi, and vocals, and just be silly on stage. Yeah.
Wow, that's phenomenal. Do you have a favorite Carnival song?
Well, as fate would have it, my band hasn't played Carnival in probably over 20 years. So, unfortunately, there was that transition to using recordings by and large, and there's another local band in the area also that's played a few of the carnivals, but it's usually just for the larger events, and it's more due to economics, I believe. I have no idea, but that's what I think anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. And I have a quick question. Since hi, Miss Blanca. She's back. Are you with us?
I've been watching and sharing and, and putting the comments and everything. And one of the things that we feel in Mexico, that we have the polka, the chotis, and the redoba is because the influence from Germany and the accordion through the whole Latin America. We have the accordion, which is amazing. How beautiful, the how do you say that, what they have left. And we Mexicans, of course, we took it and said, this is Mexico, but of course not. It came from Germany, right? Okay.
That's Austria. That's so funny because my mother and father came to visit us, moved to California. We actually grew up back east. And we were having dinner at a Mexican restaurant, and my mother was convinced that it was Bavarian music.
She was singing.
See right here, Gerardo Gutierrez says the northern part of Mexico has a big musical influence from Germany, especially the accordion. Yeah, that's what I was sharing with you. And also, that's one of the things that I was going to ask you. That I don't know what has been your most beautiful experience. I don't know if you were able to go back to Germany and show that how much you love your country, that you are living and the culture over here in the United States. And when you go back and they, let's say, you play your music, or when you do a dance and they go, probably, I feel like that in Mexico. A lot of people say, not even here in Mexico, a lot of people don't even worry about the culture. But you are doing that over there in the United States. I don't know if that's the same thing that happens with you.
They're very surprised. We have the opportunity to go over there to Bavaria every 2 years to compete. We belong to a North American organization, and we compete nationally to see who the best dancers are. And then we send our best dancers to Bavaria to compete among the different Bavarian groups. And they're always surprised, right, that it's even possible. And many of the folks that go over to visit Bavaria dressed like this don't speak any German. And the Germans are just amazed, right? That they look German, they act German, they dance German, they play German music, and yet not all of them can speak German. They're not German. So it's
and one of the things that I thought was just a fabulous experience was when we actually marched in the Oktoberfest parade in Munich, and we had 350 people from North America went to participate in the parade. And so we were all marching together as a group. Now our costumes are different. Our tracht is different.
From group to group.
From group to group, the colors are different. The region that we're representing wear different things. But so we were a very large group, and people on the sidelines were like, wow, who is this group? There's so many people, and they're dressed differently. And so they were asking, like, where are you from? And so people started yelling out states, Pennsylvania, Texas, California, and they just kept looking at us going, no. And they were just amazed that we were dressed properly and that we kept this going in the United States. But that was really such a cool thing for me that they just could not believe it. They looked at us and said, "You're from where?" And this it was great.
But the best is when an Australian tourist wanted to take our picture at the Oktoberfest.
That's funny to tell us about her dances.
That is phenomenal. I can't imagine how wonderful an experience that is. Let's ask Miss Marlee E. Did I pronounce that right? What beautiful costume are you wearing, and how does your costume tie into the German culture?
I think she was having a little problem getting connection.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ask the same question to Miss Amanda. You have a wonderful, beautiful, sparkly costume on. Explain what you're wearing, why you're wearing it, and so on.
So I am wearing and then I also have the carnival boots on. You guys can't see them. I kind of got to pick my own costume, which is kind of nice because I have a very shiny taste. And basically, the funky region has to stand out from everyone because we're the soloists. So yeah, that's basically it. I kind of try to go by something that's like flexible for me to dance in. But usually for like a traditional funky Mauritian costume, you would have like the longer sleeves, you would have a coat, and possibly a skirt like this, maybe a little longer with a petticoat. But they're a little harder to find. Usually shipping and stuff from Germany and everything always takes longer. So, yeah.
And can you explain what kind of dance you are performing in your solos? What kind of movements, tricks? Just to give the audience not a sample, but an idea of what kind of athleticism goes into your performances.
Yeah, so every time I explain this to my friends and stuff, they're always like, "Oh, what kind of dancing you do?" And so I don't really have like the style. I always just say German carnival, but then what does that mean? So I usually do like a bunch of kicks, cartwheels, splits, things that kind of show off my flexibility. Times where I'm feeling a little more flexible than others. I can do like front walkovers and things like that.
Wow.
Get to pick up music as long as the Elferod approves of it. So that's pretty cool. You know, I can form it to my own taste, but still have almost that, you know, German tradition to it along with it. And so I usually take a couple of like jazz moves, lyrical moves, mix them all together and kind of just form my own. And I have to listen to the music over and over again, figure out the counts, and you know how many counts does the cartwheel take, and just combine them all together, and it becomes a dance.
Ask October this. What are we celebrating?
Perfect. Miss Blanca.
Oh, okay. I wanted to ask them how challenges is to get involved the new generations that are born here in the United States to get them involved in your culture. You know, to let them, you know, let's say for German music, I don't know if they're attractive to the German music or it's something that parents have to push them and drag them to music class, to dance class. That happens with us, you know, with Mexico.
Yeah.
You know, we have to bring the kids and I hate it, I'm not Mexican. But after they dance for a couple of years, you know, and they're able to, I guess, to visit Mexico, they start feeling very proud of their culture and their roots, you know, even though they are not born in that country. So I don't know if that happens with you, if it's hard to get the young generations to get involved with their culture. So whoever wants to share this with us.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Amanda.
I'll go. So for me, like, I have a lot of friends who are in their early 20s, and so to join the dance group, my mom and I usually invite people to the events first, and it kind of starts with just the alcohol and partying because that's kind of what brings their interest in, you know, at that age in the beginning, and then once they kind of start seeing what a family it is and the traditions that we bring together, that's what kind of drags the people in to stay. And so we've gotten some people to join the Prinzengarde that way, and parents. And so usually when the parents join the Prinzengarde for us, they've brought their kids into the kids dance group, kids carnival dance group. And so usually for the kids, you know, they just have to have a good theme and a fun teacher, which we happen to have. We have a great kids dance teacher, and so they kind of just like it. Some parents have to force them a little bit, you know, like, oh, you'll like it after a while, and they usually do. Once we have the performances, it's all a good time for everyone.
Yeah, and I want to add to that. So yeah, my three kids also came through the youth dance group that we have at the Phoenix Club, and they all grew into carnival and German culture. But also at Ganga, the German American Mardi Gras, when we have our big events in Las Vegas, we actively invite these youth groups to come to Las Vegas, of course, with their parents. And so that's a super nice introduction. They are among the adults. They perform at the events. They get big applause and feel very proud and want to come back next year. And that's how we keep them and grow them into adult performers, like Amanda. I remember her when she was just like.
And you know, I would say for musicians, it's probably a little different, only in that you have to have a certain skill set first. So for myself personally, um, I always tell my friends I grew up in Little Germany in terms of my household, right, and grew up in the Midwest. And I started playing when I was 10 years old. And just like any craft, whether it's dancing or any art, right, you've got your growing pains. There were plenty of times where I felt like throwing my instrument against the wall because you get frustrated and stuff. But you eventually get past that point, and one day you hear yourself playing. You go, hey, actually, that doesn't sound too bad. And and then you start getting excited. And then, so for me, then down the road, after high school, I went in the Marine Corps, ended up playing in the Marine Band, which wasn't my plan to be a musician at all, actually. Now, all I was growing up, though, of course, when I say Little Germany, 7 o'clock in the morning, the Schlägerlieder would be fired up by my dad because it was time to start working on projects around the house at 7 in the morning. So listening to Prussian march music and all that. So quite a variety of the German heritage, or German, not just folk music, but the hit parades and things like that. So I was exposed to all of that music when I was growing up, and only to find that once I landed here in California in '75 with a Marine band at El Toro, that I discovered the Phoenix Club, and again the whole aspect of the party environment of the culture in terms of the Oktoberfest or Schützenfest, or there's plenty of fests throughout the year that Germans like to participate in, and it's all usually revolved around beer, right? But the vibe is a lot of fun, and for me, just I really connected with my heritage in that sense because I grew up with it all. In turn, as far as music is concerned, as far as youth, you have to have a certain set of skill set to get to the point to be playing as a professional. So. So it's a little different than dance groups. I think these dance groups afford a little different opportunity for kids, and for the youth to be participating with the heritage. It's a really good thing.
Phenomenal. I have a question from the audience. Can anyone answer, why is Oktoberfest celebrated?
Why is Oktoberfest celebrated?
Or what is Oktoberfest? We know as general as like, it's just a great time to party, but what are we celebrating other than, having a good time? What is it?
It's a royal wedding. It's a royal wedding celebration. It's the anniversary of a royal wedding that occurred in mid 1800s. The Prince of Bavaria at the time. There you go, Jürgen. But that was the first Oktoberfest. The royal family of Bavaria decided that they would open it up to the citizens of Munich, and they did it on a field called the Theresienwiese, and it was so successful the first time that they decided to repeat it, and it's happened almost every year since. I think there have been a couple of exceptions because of wars, but that's what Oktoberfest is all about.
Oh, it's a wedding party. That's so a wedding anniversary.
Yep.
That is so neat.
Imagine if they had even had an inkling that people would still be celebrating their wedding 200 years later.
Right?
I've been to some German weddings that go on for a very long time, so it's not a terribly unusual thing. They do party until 5 or 6 in the morning.
Well, the Oktoberfest is 2 weeks, right?
And there's weeks.
When we're speaking of Oktoberfest, you said Phoenix Club. I know we shall just see. Do you want to give us some information of how we can celebrate Oktoberfest? In regards to that, because I know I think somebody mentioned that their parents
Yeah,
were
my
celebrating.
parents were there. From what I understand, they take reservations, and it's an outdoor beer zelt. And there's no dancing, I don't think, unless they changed it. I wasn't there, so it's music, the beer, the food,
Okay.
the Gemütlichkeit, just being together. That's a
Yeah,
word, Gemütlichkeit.
the club has organized it quite well, actually. Riney and I perform as a duo for the event. And the layout, everything's socially distanced as far as the tables, not more than six people to a table. Reservations aren't mandatory. They just suggest that in terms of being able to get a priority table, but they are taking walk-ins.
Okay, good.
And each session is only 3 hours long. Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday they have 2 3-hour sessions, and then on Sunday it's from 12 to 4. The reason for the sessions is so that they can have a better handle in terms of maintaining a COVID safe environment. And I have to say, they're really doing a spectacular job. Human nature is what it is. You have some people when they show up and they're like children not wanting to follow the rules. So you have to be somewhat somewhat positive minded and try to remind them, isn't it wonderful that we're able to do anything, right? And so without the dancing and all, and as many may know that in Germany at Oktoberfest, there typically are not dance floors anyway. You're there, you go there to eat, drink, and hang with people. Usually you go with friends. The other cool thing in my experience in Germany was you don't have to have friends. You just sit at a table, and before you know it, because they pack you in with other folks, right? So, before you know it, you're friends with the whole table and having a great time. But as far as the Phoenix Club is concerned, I just want to really hats off to how they're organizing that, and there's a lot of regulations that any business has to follow in our COVID environment, and so it's a bit of a struggle, but I think they're doing a great job. So.
Yeah, no one organizes like the Germans, do they?
Well, I wouldn't say no one does, but I'd say that we typically do a pretty good job. Yeah.
Someone mentioned Gemütlichkeit. Can someone give the audience a translation and definition of what Gemütlichkeit means to you?
That is one cannot be translated. Feeling good, feeling really good, and
really good,
feeling relaxed.
It's comfortable at home.
Yeah.
Miss Blanca Soto.
I want to share something with you that I found, and I know some people cannot dance, but let's see if we can show it. 1 second, I'm going to share something with you. Let me know if you hear it and you see it. I hope you like it. Bravo, bravo, beautiful. Yay.
Bravo.
I have a quick question for all our dancers. The women, how do you spin and turn around at the same time? That is just amazing. And why? That's just, I mean, you spin and you're going in this. I'm dizzy. So, how do we do that, Kathy?
It takes a lot of practice. and why we're spinning, I can't really answer that question. I know the guys are supposed to be imitating birds. They're trying to impress us with their...
I'll tell you why she's spinning.
Okay.
So the dance that we saw is a Schuhplattler. It's a traditional Schuhplattler dance, and it's a courting dance. The guys are showing off and trying to attract the girls. Now, the girl is spinning because when she does, her skirt lifts. And if I'm lucky, I might catch a peek underneath.
Oh.
And the reason she's spinning away is because she's had enough of me. Which is why I then go chase her. But yeah, the courtship dance.
That is so, go ahead.
You do learn to just blank everything out. It's not as bad as you would think. I mean, after a while, we don't spot or anything like that, like a dancer, a ballet dancer would do. We have to keep our heads straight. But after a while, you just blur it out. You don't see it, and it's really not that bad.
But it's in competition, you get judged on how straight your head is and how open your skirt is, how full the bell is, and any wobbling of that bell, and you lose points, right? So yeah, work really, really hard.
I know. I mean, audience, just to know, I have seen the preview of the Semblanza performance for Germany, and they are precise. Their skirts are full out. They're absolutely beautiful, and it's just amazing. I remember, I'm not a dancer professionally, or I even try. I've done like a beginning adult group, and they're in they're from the state of Chiapas. there's a dance, and it's called I don't think it's Michener, but anyways, there's one where we have to like pivot and be traveling at the same time. I ended up calling it the margarita dance because after just doing it, I felt like I've had a couple of margaritas. I've just I've just been being woozily. So when I first saw Germany performing a couple of years ago, and I saw the women. I mean, the men, you guys are amazing also with your slapping. And then in this video, we didn't even see it when you guys jump also. Yeah. That's just the athleticism. But yeah, the women, I'm thinking, how are they spinning and then turning at this, going around in a whole circle around all these guys? That's not even a small circle. It's like a big circle. There's like 20 men going around. I'm thinking, and so it was just mesmerizing. So everybody, make sure you stick around for Semblanza and watch them. We'll announce when they'll be on, either the 17th or the 18th, and just to watch. Mr. Schwartz will be on there. He's featured on there. Miss Amanda, everybody you see here is featured in this video. But and it's just impressive. But that performance was just, like I said, I had to ask Rob, your ambassador, who does all this, and I'm going, why? How is that? And that's just, I need to see it. I need to know why. And he did explain it's a courtship dance. He had a nicer way, Rudy. He said that the women's dresses blow out like that because what was it, like
to keep unwanted men away?
Keep unwanted men away. Yes, there you go. That's what how he said.
And he also mentioned that the slapping that the men do is kind of like the equivalent of male dominance, like in bucking bucks or something like that.
Like to show. So it's pretty, it's quite beautiful, and I'm very impressed with it. It just like, wow, just to watch you spin and the jumping and everything. You just have a lot to watch, and it's very entertaining, and your costumes are just simply beautiful. So yes, I mean, thank you so much for all of that and for all your dedication. That's just great. Miss Amanda, have you ever done that?
In the kids group, we do like the shoe. Well, like it's not as complicated in the kids group. The little ones you have don't always do the slapping and everything. We do kind of more like holding hands and spinning, but just like two spins. So, but I remember watching the adult shoe plottler, and my friends and I were all trying to do the spinning, and we would ask, how do we do that? And everyone would just
yeah.
And then, in the group, we do a combination of like ballet and stuff. So we would always try to spot so we wouldn't get dizzy, and we learned that was wrong. So, yeah.
Wow. Ms. Blanca, you had a question?
Well, I want to comment that I was in tears almost when I saw the video, because I saw people that they really truly enjoy their culture, even though they're far away from their country. And I wish, also our elders, elders,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, do that too here. But sometimes they just send their kids to dance, and they limit themselves to enjoy or to start participating. It's just one or two groups that I see the moms dancing with the kids. But this one, I saw a beautiful, people enjoying their culture and in a very respectful and loving way. And for me, I think it's one of the best things you can leave to your young generations, to see how much you love your country and you respect it fully by wearing all the costume, by doing with such a beautiful, and because I'm sure you guys practice a lot, because it looks beautiful. It looks beautiful. And so what would you say to those people who are in your country and probably Germans here in the United States? What is it that you feel when you're on stage that you can motivate people who are away right now for their culture, and they just too busy maybe and living their lives and enjoying the tablets and all this multimedia, all this electricity and all the things that we have now to play games and stuff like that, what is it you feel on stage, or what is it you feel when you're leaving this moment on stage? So share that with us so people can understand why you're still doing this.
You want me to go first? I can go first. For me, I connect with my culture in the music because I grew up with it. But when I'm on stage, and it's all about the energy and just portraying the music that we're performing. And what's also rather interesting, it's not really black and white in the sense that the music that's listened to in Germany today and what's played at Oktoberfest here in America. Here in America tends to be a bit more, I'll just use the word nostalgic, a little, where quite often it's perhaps music that's been listened, that was popular more like 20 or 30 years ago even, right? But when it comes to the heritage though as well, we think it's important not to forget some of those older styles in the songs that have been around for more than decades. I mean, quite a long time. Whereas in Germany, quite often, there's been more of an attraction towards rock, country, jazz. It's not a bad thing, but I'm just saying that sometimes when Germans come over to an Oktoberfest here, they're quite surprised at how much of the folk music that's actually played versus what they hear in Germany. Now, for me, when I'm on stage, to me, I just connect with it. So in terms of the energy and beat, it's telling a story and just portraying what the vibe of the music's all about, and hoping that it'll transmit to the audience as well. If I look like I'm having fun, hopefully the audience will have fun as well. So that's the goal, and yeah, it's just a blast. Even at 64, it's still a blast.
What I think is really important, and it's important to me, and I think it's the best thing about our culture. There are many groups in our Gauverbund that have grandparents, parents, and grandchildren all dancing. It's just, it's a wonderful family atmosphere. You can send your child off to college anywhere across the United States pretty much, and there is a dance group, there's a Butler group. They can go to a practice, they're home. They're all family. We all look out for each other. And yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of groups where you have grandparents, parents, and grandchildren, and sometimes even great grandparents that might not be dancing anymore, but they're there as well. So I think that's something that's really important for people to have.
But when you're on stage, what energizes me is the ability to share a piece of tradition that others may not be able to share and may not have seen, right? So to be able to go out there and do it well and share it, I think is really special.
That's just amazing. Amanda, or somebody actually, before we go to Amanda, somebody said, what about some yodeling? And I think that's a really fun thing to do. There it is, Jeannie Schwartz. I don't know who put her up to this, but I think since we're celebrating German American Day, I think that'll be fun to do at the very, very end. Okay, so everybody get your yodeling together. So just to know, that's what we're going to finish with. Okay. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
We're all going to yodel together.
No, yes, I think so. Okay. All righty.
No, you're going to do it.
We'll all be yodeling together, but let's go ahead and get the final thoughts of Amanda and President Holger and Ms. Karen before we yodel.
So I'll go. Usually when I'm on stage, I like to look at the kids because they always sit right, almost pretty much on the dance floor to watch all the dances, and I like watching them and seeing their interest in what I'm doing or what the whole group is doing. And sometimes even like the really younger ones or the ones who are in the young dance group, they'll try to kind of copy our and feeling kind of just, makes me feel warm inside, and it makes me know that, they feel the same way about, celebrating the tradition and carnival as I do. So that's what goes on in my mind.
For me, it's easy. I just have to organize a really good show. People enjoy it, drink a lot of beer so that pays the bills, and everyone has a good time.
That's wonderful. I love it. And Miss Karen, I know you're a writer and, like Miss Amanda said, a historian of your culture. But what is it when you see them performing? What is it you get? What do you feel?
It's exciting to see it go on still. I mean, I'm first generation American, but I've gone to different festivals around that because, in California, yeah, there are pockets of German culture, but it's not like on every street. You don't see it on the street signs. We had German in the house, but outside, unless we were at the Phoenix Club or unless I was at German school, it was American. So it's wonderful to see people doing this, to carry on these traditions, to remember what their Oma taught them and what their mother taught them, and to still recognize the music and the dance and the books and the stories. And that's what I try to share, and try to make sure that we keep track of all of that and focus it, because the next generation is going to come up. And I'd love for them to understand and to know what it is that being German is, to be a German American, what it's like.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Yes, that's beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so some of us don't know how to yodel. So who can give us a
don't at all.
So that's 4 of us. Now, Mr. Schwartz, can you teach us how to yodel so we can all yodel at the same time?
Well, the basic thing on yodeling is that within your voice, there's a low range and a high range, and as you go from low to high, you'll reach a point where your voice will go into falsetto, right? It'll just like flip.
Oh wow!
Right? So everybody has to find that in terms of their own voice to know where that is. But that's the basis of it. And then I always joke, and when somebody asks me, well, how did I learn to yodel? And I said, well, I had a lot of water bills because most of it was spent in the shower, trying to learn to yodel.
Yeah, I can vouch that. That's where Miss Amanda sings also. She holds live concerts all the time.
Yeah, you just feel safer there, right? There's nobody around paying attention in case something goes wrong. But,
and perfect acoustics.
Yeah, right. Exactly. But like anything, as far as art is concerned, dancing and otherwise, you find people that you listen to or watch and emulate, and so you learn that way as well. So for me, that's basically how I learn, just listening to Hansel Koyenau or Franz Lang, and some of these guys that and the folks from Tyrol as well. I don't even compare to those guys. I mean, I'm just a hack when it comes to listening to some of those, and it's just really it's quite astounding and fun to listen to, especially when they start yodeling in harmony. It's pretty awesome.
That's awesome. Okay, so is everybody I think Miss Blanca, go ahead.
I'm so sorry, because I honestly I'm having so much fun by listening all this, and I do respect when people are truly live their culture and feel so proud of it, because we as Latinos, we hear so many association of Latinos, right? When it comes to ask them, oh, you really, really Latino? See. Oh, so when was the last time you went to support a folk dance company? And they're like, oh?
Yeah.
And the one thing is to say, I am Latino. Another thing is to leave it. which is very different, right? So I think it's not to tell them, oh, shame of you, no, but it's inviting them to say, you missed such a wonderful part of your story, of your history, of your, of the people who were you born, So we have a saying in Mexico. It said, through your roots, your spirit will speak. So once you know your roots, definitely you know where you are and how you feel, and of course you're going to leave it here. So my question to all of you: were you all born in Germany? I know parents said no. You were the first generation, right? You were born here.
First generation American. I was born. My parents arrived shortly before I did.
So you have traveled to Germany, right?
I was born here in California, in Southern California.
So I was born in Germany, in Ludwigsburg near Stuttgart, but my parents immigrated when I was 2.5 months old.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting because at that time in the 50s, unlike today where English is predominantly a natural second language in Germany, it wasn't so much then. So a lot of the immigrants coming over only spoke German, and so it was a little rougher to for the adults as well. I mean, they came over with me in a bundle and a suitcase, and that was it. So in the true spirit of being an immigrant, coming over to forge their life and live their dreams. Right, as the saying goes in German, they say that America is das Land von unbegrenzten Möglichkeiten, which just means that America is the land of unbordered opportunity. And so many of the German immigrants came over with that in mind, and that's for me. So I'm a naturalized citizen, but it's interesting because I grew up like in little Germany, but yet still in an American social environment, right? So it was an interesting childhood.
Yeah, German in the house, American outside. That's
Yeah.
what it was
Right.
like for us. German was my first language, even though I was born here.
Right.
When your parents are immigrants, the language is not, things aren't translated automatically. So they had to learn it slowly.
And if you have to recommend a good restaurant, they had excellent German food. What would you recommend it here in California for us Californianos if we want to go have a great taste of the truly German food? Look at you in my house. You can.
I will promote the Phoenix Club, but actually one of my favorites is the Speisekammer up in Alameda, California.
Yes.
Oh, I think
Everybody agree. Yes.
Everybody's agreeing. It's a really good place.
And what is the best dish to have, or the best that you want to recommend for us to request?
Oh gosh.
Everybody has different favorites, but mine is rouladen. It's beef, very thinly sliced and pounded, and then it's rolled up with a pickle and some bacon and maybe some chopped onion inside of it. And it's really good.
That sounds delicious. It's braised for quite a while. It's tender and it comes with the gravy. You have to have the gravy, otherwise it's nothing.
Yeah.
The traditional combination is of rouladen with dumpling or spätzle and red cabbage, and a gravy over the rouladen. Yeah. Good stuff.
And then a good Bavarian roast pork, a Schweinsbraten.
Yeah, the Schweinehaxen is also great. Yeah.
Are there a community or let's say a small town that represents Germany here in California that we can go and visit?
I'm not aware.
In California?
No.
No, there are
here in LA we have Little Tokyo, and we have Placito Olvera, and we have the Little Italy, and we also have like different communities or different places that you can go and learn a little more about their culture. So I don't know if you have something like that. It's a museum where it shows Germany, or maybe arts and crafts store that we can go and purchase things.
I think over the years, the two places that came close to building kind of a little community would have been Alpine Village as well as Old World. But I think over time, unfortunately, there wasn't enough retail interest really to sustain a lot of the businesses as far as the real German culture type of shops. A few of them survived at Alpine, but not. 30 years ago, I think it was still pretty strong.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
There is a little village in the state of Washington called Leavenworth, and that town is designed to appear like a Bavarian village in the Alps, and it might be the closest thing out here in the West.
Beautiful. So that is so wonderful, because in that way, some of us, we cannot go all the way to Germany, so we can at least, get a taste of Germany, but thank you so much for all this that you're sharing with us. And I think we're gonna almost ready to wrap. I don't know if Amanda, you have other questions, but I just wanted to ask you to give us one last thought about what is good and important to our culture, even though we are far away from our country, and also to share your social media so people can follow you and see more about your country and your culture. So whoever wants to start, go ahead.
Okay, well, it's important for me to know where you're going. You have to understand where you come from. And so it's very important to me to learn as much as I can, and to be able to pass that along to my kids, to my grandkids. But, in the crazy world we live in, you have to know where you come from in order to be able to go forward. So,
Our history is full of wonderful, amazing things that we should not forget. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to say also we are almost all Americans here, but I think every country, every tradition brings something to the American culture as well. So American culture is a big boiling pot of many, many cultures, and we are a little part of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's true.
Miss Karen?
Yeah, I was thinking about tradition and culture and passing it along and how that sort of connects us. We do Christmas in our house the way my parents taught me to do Christmas. We celebrate Christmas Eve, and I pass that on to my kids who can't imagine doing it now any other way. And it's so different from what the neighbors did when we were growing up. But it's a tie, right? It's the Christmas music and the foods that we had, the roast goose, and then opening the presents because the Christ child brought all these things sort of, it ties you together, and it's a connection to my parents, to my grandparents, and then even though we are thousands of miles from family, we still have the same traditions. It's not all generic, whatever we see on television or whatever is shown on social media. It's something that belongs within the family, but we also have, I always think of it as sort of a secret club. All the Germans grew up kind of the same way, and we're going to meet Thursdays, guys. I'll bring cake and you bring napkins, and everybody's going to have a really good time. Because we all have such similar experiences, even though we had them in different places, because we have this single root that we all came from. Does that make sense? Yeah.
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 I would say in our house, much the same way in terms of the you mentioned Karen, as far as Christmas, for example. Now my wife is Hispanic, and so we actually sort of cross the gorge, if you will. I annually I make the German potato salad, which from year after year, as far as the family is concerned, is sort of a tradition. But we've combined that with the traditional tamales that happen on Christmas as well. And you know what? They taste pretty good together.
I bet. I grew up in SoCal. Mexican was delicious.
Yeah. So, and then musically for me, being able to perform my ethnical or to perform German music in a more traditional sense, in a way that most people America perhaps aren't acquainted with. Is my connection, but what's even more exciting is when it's connecting with people and they have a great time and enjoying it. So.
I like that.
And Miss Amanda?
Yeah, I would agree with that. With dancing too, I really like connecting with people. But what's important about it for me is not just connecting with people, but since I've never gotten the chance to go to Germany and visit my mom's side of the family who lives there, it kind of makes me feel closer to them, the fact that I am celebrating my German culture, because all of my Hispanic side of my family is here, and I only have, my Oma and my mom and her sisters that are German. So being able to, kind of connect with their culture and to connect with my Oma, who is deep in her German roots, feeling the happiness on her face when she knows that I'm celebrating her culture, it makes it all worthwhile for me.
That's beautiful.
Beautiful. Wonderful. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us in this wonderful evening.
I'm not sure.
Yes, go ahead.
Holger, Mr. Holger, share his last thoughts with us.
Well, I'm speechless. I think it was a really nice show. Good seeing you all. Thanks for giving us a chance and introducing, and hopefully we see you and some of your viewers at the Phoenix Club in the near future. Maybe at Oktoberfest this weekend.
Yeah.
Okay,
there you go.
But before we go, though, I'm going to be in really big trouble if we don't all yodel at the end.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. There will be
really hoping
unrest
you
in
were
the
going to
house.
forget.
Right.
I was hoping.
I turn off the microphone.
Almost.
But you know the joke about they say yodel yodel, right? Just phonetically, though, I mean that's probably one of the easiest ways to go about yodeling. So just
Well, happy German American Day.
Yeah, but that's what I wanted to ask them, if they can finalize with in Germany, to his people and to his country, and tell them, a little bit about why you were here, and we want to hear the beautiful language of yours. Share with the last talk with them in German, if you can.
Ach so, soll ich was in Deutsch sagen? Also, ich wünsche allen unseren Zuschauern einen schönen Abend. Es war schön hier zu sein und wir hoffen bald mal wiederzukommen.
Ich würde das auch sagen, es war eigentlich ganz nett, mit euch alle zusammen zu sein und ein bisschen von unser Herzblatt so vorstellen und was wir so lieben in Musik oder Tanz oder sowieso. Ne? So, alles Gute.
Alles
Ich bin
Gute.
sehr froh, dass wir diese Gelegenheit hatten, unsere Kultur zu zeigen und vorstellen. Hoffentlich hat es alle Spaß gemacht.
Viel Spaß. Miss Karen?
Also ja, vielen Dank für die Einladung. Es war sehr, sehr schön und sehr nett. Und ich glaube, es war sehr interessant für alle, unsere Sachen vorzustellen, was Leute vielleicht normalerweise nie sehen. Also Dankeschön.
Ja, tausendmal Dank.
That's it, everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I hope you didn't say anything bad about me. Well, thank you so
All right,
much.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you all so much
Bye.
for watching.
Bye.
Bye,
Good
everyone.
night,
Good night.
Thank
Auf
you.
Wiedersehen.
Thank you.
Viel Spaß. Alles Gute.
We're going to finish with a small video, but thank you so much for being with us and
Thank you
celebrate
for
all
inviting
the culture. Viva Alemania! Germany!
Alemania.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Tierra
Bye-bye.
Blanca Arts Center invites you to Semblanza 2020, October 17 and 18. Semblanza is a global virtual folk and dance festival with the participation of more than 20 countries, celebrating folk, art, tradition, and culture. Join us in our journey to Semblanza on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 o'clock and meet the directors and all the artists that are participating in this wonderful celebration. Semblanza 2020, presented by Tierra Blanca Arts Center.